A very good morning to all the audience and panelists. Thanks for allocating your time on our student forum at Dewan Sri Temenggong Institute Pendidikan Guru Temenggong Ibrahim. It's a great day for us to discuss about avoiding COVID-19. As we all know, COVID-19 pandemic is the defining global health crisis of our time and is known as the greatest challenge we have faced nowadays. So, today we are to discuss which they think is the most important practice in avoiding COVID-19. Before we go further, I would like to introduce our panel for today's forum. They are me, Yap Zhang Wei, Jewel Dan Jiaqi, Maven Hao Jiaying. We are proud to be here to share and gain knowledge on which is the most important practice in avoiding COVID-19. Without wasting our time, our first panel, Ms. Maven, will share her personal opinions.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, as a panel member of Avoiding COVID-19, I would like to take this golden opportunity to talk on the importance of practicing to wear a mask in avoiding COVID-19. For me, wearing mask is so important because it may help prevent people who have COVID-19 from spreading the virus to others. Masks are most likely to reduce the spread of COVID-19 when they are widely used by people in public settings. This is because COVID-19 can be spread by people who do not have symptoms and do not know that they are infected. This is why it is important for everyone to wear masks in public settings. Masks and face coverings can prevent the wearer from transmitting the COVID-19 virus to others and may provide some protection to the wearer. Multiple studies have shown that face coverings can contain droplets expelled from the wearer, which are responsible for the majority of transmission of the virus. This source control approach reflects in shift in thinking from a medical perspective.
Sorry to interrupt, but mask should be worn by under the age of 2 or anyone who has trouble breathing, is unconscious, incapacitated, or otherwise unable to remove the mask without assistance.
Yes, masks are not perfect barriers to transmission, but they don't need to be perfect if they aren't used alone. Universal mask use should be accompanied by other public health measures such as physical distancing, testing, contact tracing, and restrictions on large gatherings. Those measures aren't perfect either, but when many imperfect measures are combined at the community level, they can be very effective at slowing transmission and reducing infections.
Messaging under of wearing a mask during the pandemic has at times confusing. Can you please explain it for me?
Sure. Universal masks can significantly reduce virus transmission in communities. Masks are not perfect barriers to transmission and should be combined with other preventative measures such as social distancing and contact tracing. Many people with COVID-19 are unaware they are carrying the virus. It is estimated that 40% of persons with COVID-19 are asymptomatic but potentially able to transmit the virus to the others. In the absence of widespread screening tests, we have no way to identify many people who are silently transmitting the virus in their community. Universal mask use can significantly reduce virus transmission in a community by preventing anyone, including those who are unwittingly carrying the virus, from transmitting it to the others. Disease modeling suggests masks worn by significant portions of the population, coupled with other measures, could result in substantial reductions in case numbers and deaths. Besides, Masks can also reduce the inequitable impact of the pandemic, particularly for those who live in crowded environments where physical distancing is difficult, and for those who work in frontline roles where there is a greater risk of exposure to the virus. I think my opinion and explanation are clear enough to prove that wearing mask is a must to avoid COVID-19. How about your opinion, Jewel?
However, the protective effects, how well the mask protects healthy people from breathing in the virus, are unknown. To prevent getting sick, caregivers should also continue to practice everyday preventing actions, avoid close contact and as much as possible, clean hands often, avoiding touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands, and frequently clean the disinfect surface. So, in my point of view, sanitization is important for all, helping to maintain health and increase lifespan, especially during the current COVID-19 pandemic. It's more important than ever.
Important than ever, can you justify and detail it?
Well, proper hygiene and sanitation prevent the spread of disease and infections. If every individual on the planet maintains good hygiene for himself and the things around him, disease will eradicate to a great level. For an example, a simple habit of washing hands goes a long way toward preventing disease. As we all know, we are now living through a health crisis that is most of us has never seen before. COVID-19 has most paralyzed the country and threatened the health of people throughout the world. So, one of the ways to avoid COVID-19 is to sanitizing regularly. This is because germs are everywhere. They can get onto our hands and items we touch during daily activities and make us get infected with the disease. With this, I strongly think that cleaning hands at key times with soap and water or hand sanitizer that contain at least 60% alcohol is one of the most important steps to avoid COVID-19 and spreading germs to those around you.
Oh, now I understand why sanitizer has to be with us anywhere and anytime.
Me too, Jewel. Do you mind to give some opinions on how, when, and where to apply sanitizer?
No, I am glad to share what I know with you too. We have to sanitize our hands, especially after we have been in a public space, or after blowing your nose, coughing or sneezing, or use the restroom or about to leave one place. Furthermore, we should sanitize our hands when we leave and return from the grocery shop, for instance. As we all know, hand sanitizer is a fast cleaning method that works wonder. I mentioned that sanitizing is most important now than ever. Sanitizing reduces the growth of virus, fungi, and type of harmful bacteria. The Center for Disease Control also recommends us to take steps to clean and sanitize high-touch surfaces in our home. This used to be safe if people touching them have been in contact with the outside world or people beyond their social bubble. Since, since COVID-19 is capable of living on surfaces, we can clean every day, but we should always sanitize and also disinfect to keep our home or our workplace safe. While we are currently social distancing and self-quarantining across the country, that doesn't mean we don't need to sanitize. Regular cleaning and sanitizing of floor is also important, as COVID-19 can spread from your shoes to new locations as you walk around throughout the day. Besides, when taking your shoe off, it can spread to your hand, which increases the risk of infection. From here, we can conclude the reasons why sanitizing regularly is the most important practice in avoid COVID-19.
Oh, thanks. Now I become aware that sanitizing regularly is important in avoiding COVID-19 besides wearing a mask.
But I think social distancing is more important in avoiding COVID-19. Let's think over it. COVID-19 spreads mainly among people who are in close contact within about 6 feet for a prolonged period. Spray happens when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, and droplets from their mouth and or nose are launched into the air and land in the mouth or nose of people nearby. Recent studies indicate that people who are infected but do not have symptoms likely also play a role in the spread of COVID-19. Since people can spray the virus before they know they are sick, it is important to stay at least 6 feet away from others when possible, even if you do not have any symptoms.
Yes, it's true. COVID-19 can live for hours or days on a surface depending on factors such as sunlight, humidity, and the type of surface. So it may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it and then touching their own mouth, nose, and or eyes. Do you agree with me, Zanwei?
Yes, I am. However, this is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. Social distancing helps limit opportunities to come in contact with contaminated surfaces and infected people outside the home. Everyone has a role to play in slowing the spread and protecting themselves, their family, and their community. Keeping space between you and others is one of the best tools we have to avoid being exposed to this virus and slowing its spread in communities.
Oh, I see. But how can we apply this social distance effectively, especially when we are going to hang out?
Haha, here are some tips for practicing social distancing when we decided to go out. Firstly, limit contact when running errands. Only visit stores selling household essentials in person when you absolutely need to, and stay at least 6 feet away from others who are not from your households while shopping and in lines. If possible, use delivery service to limit face-to-face contact with others. Maintain physical distance between yourself and delivery service providers during exchanges. Secondly, prepare for transportation. Consider social distancing options to travel safely when running errands or commuting to and from work. Whether walking, bicycling, wheelchair rolling, or using public transit, ride shares, or taxis. When using public transit, try to keep at least 6 feet from other passengers or transit operators. For example, when you are waiting at a bus station or selecting seats on a bus or train. When using ride shares or taxis, avoid pull-up rides where multiple passengers are picked up, and sit in the back seat in larger vehicles so you can remain at least 6 feet away from the driver. Last but not least, choose safe social activities. It's possible to stay socially connected with friends and family who don't live in your home by calling, using video chat, or staying connected through social media. If meeting others in person, example like at small outdoor gatherings, yard or drive away gathering with a small group of friends or family members, remember to stay at least 6 feet from others who are not from your households.
Wow, from our discussions, I must say that all three practices are very important in avoiding COVID-19. None of the practices should be neglected in order to protect ourselves and people around us. In a nutshell, The combination of the three practices makes are of most important way in avoiding COVID-19. That's all for today's panel. I hope that you all have enjoyed and learned something from this discussion. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.
Goodbye.